Welcome to the first ever Sip and Swish mini pod. So it's the first on a couple levels, I guess. So it's the first mini pod we've ever done. And it's the first time we're going to be talking about something other than basketball. This is a Super Bowl edition, kind of recapping, reviewing the big game. Let's put our cards on the table. I and Lucas, Jason and Lucas, are huge Eagles fans.
Huge.
We follow the NFL closely, but we're not going to pretend to be unbiased on this. We're a little biased. Nick, our good friend Nick, not really an Eagles fan, but that's because he's not really an NFL fan.
No, doesn't do it for me. I'll watch the game. It was fun. It was a great game. But the other, 16 games each team.
Think about the previous Super Bowls, though. What was more entertaining? You got to think about them. Like, which one sticks out more? This one, right?
This one. Last year's was it was really cool, but it was like the third quarter it started getting interesting, so I was already like...
Right. They had an epic comeback last year, but...
I will freely admit that I stopped watching the Super Bowl last year because I thought it was over. I had been watching it with my dad, I think. I left his house, got back to my house, and probably like 15 minutes after that, he just starts blowing up my phone. Like, turn it back on, turn it back on. I wish I didn't, because I got to watch the Patriots win again. But yeah, this Super Bowl was amazing. The defense on both sides, not the greatest.
So bad, but
for entertainment value, 10 out of 10.
That's what made it so good. It was like, it felt kind of like Tom Brady's I'm the last Superman. Like, this is my last Superman push. He had 505 yards on the third best defense in the league. Like, the Eagles defense really just took the night off, but he showed up huge. And he didn't even have Cooks. They killed Cooks at one point. I mean, he just died in front of everyone. Like, he might not, I don't know.
I
really thought he died.
Clapping. and then I called my sources. I said, hey, is he going to live? Is he okay? Once I heard, yes, he's going to survive from my inside sources, I continued clapping.
I mean, that was huge. I thought it was going to be a much bigger game changer, but it wasn't, because apparently Gronk is still Gronk and absolutely torched the Eagles.
Still really good.
It was unstoppable, though. Like, he had 2 touchdowns. Every time they threw him the ball, it just felt like, I don't know, he really is just throwing to LeBron James out there.
The fourth quarter, like right at the last push the Patriots were taking, they just threw the Gronk in the same play, like 3 times in a row, and I was like, is anyone going to go like...
No one can match up on size on him.
Is anyone going to be near him, though, or is they just going to leave him? You know where he's going.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's frustrating to watch your team play against Gronk. And Tom, to be fair, because it's obviously the duo. Coming out of halftime, when the Patriots got the ball, it was just like, feed Gronk. And they just marched down the field, scored a touchdown, I'm pretty sure. And that's when I started feeling a little tense, because I kind of got sleepy drunk during halftime. Justin Timberlake was unwatchable, completely unwatchable.
So
the best part of the halftime was when they did like the Prince tribute, and I thought that was like, oh, that's really cool. And then I was like, oh wait, this is still Timberlake.
I had an argument with some guy at the bar we were watching it at, and I was like, oh god, this is so bad. And then he just started getting mad, being like, oh, you just want some rock band at the Super Bowl. I'm like, no, I just don't want this. Like, this is not what I want. I get the halftime show is for fans of not football, the ads, it's to get other people tuning in to watch the game.
But still, give me Katy Perry with 2 poorly dancing sharks.
Yeah, but that was so funny.
That was great. Give me that over Justin Timberlake any day.
Even like Bruno Mars was good. And
I didn't like Coldplay's, but...
No.
But Bruno Mars was okay. Katy Perry was good.
I liked Tom Petty from probably 10, 12 years ago.
I remember that.
It was good. That's the only Super Bowl I ever went to in person. Yeah, I was in Arizona. It was the Patriots-Giants Super Bowl with the helmet catch.
Oh, my God.
Which was honestly not fun for me at all, because I despise both teams. So I'm just watching 2 teams that I don't know. It was weird.
I didn't know you went to a Super Bowl. I'm kind of sad.
So, what do we think was the biggest difference in the game? Why did the Eagles win? Why did the Patriots lose?
I think they just ran. Truly, I believe they ran Chip Kelly's offense through Nick Foles. Like, Chip Kelly created this perfect system player to run the RPO, just run pass options. And for whatever reason, the defense bit every single time that the Eagles were going to run. And it was a real fear they had. But Nick Foles, I don't know how he does it. He's just some silly putty 6'8" quarterback, very standard, nothing special. But he's like magic. They can make a Disney movie off of Nick Foles' story. He has that narrative. He has the perfect little spark. I don't know. I love him. He's the best story.
Lucas has that sparkle in his eye.
I do. It's Nick Foles. I want to buy a Nick Foles jersey today. I might. Well, probably not because it's going to cost so much money right now, but
They might all be sold out.
they probably are all gone.
Because none existed before 2 weeks ago.
Exactly.
But even like talking to people, they're like, have you ever heard of this Nick Foles guy? And I was like, honestly, if I didn't have friends who were Eagles fans, no, I probably would never have heard of him.
Fair. Totally fair. I think Belichick got outcoached.
Oh, absolutely. And especially benching Malcolm Butler, which everybody has no idea really why it happened.
I've read no less than 4 different semi-explanations, but I don't think the truth is out there yet. Or if it is, it's surrounded by a cloud of vague lies.
It has to be. Because it doesn't make any sense. He plays 98% of all defensive snaps all year. He's your best defensive player. I mean, a lot of people don't probably think he's the best, but he's top 4.
Well, he won
always.
you the last, or 2 Super Bowls ago.
Yeah, he won you that Super Bowl.
He won that Super Bowl. So the reports are, some of them at least, curfew issues throughout the week.
Yeah.
Also, getting caught with weed at the hotel.
Oh, my.
Which...
Well, in Belichick land, that's huge. You know, that's like a big no. It shouldn't be, but for Belichick and the Patriots.
But the mishandling of this situation by Belichick is part why I'm saying I think Belichick was outcoached. You went into that game, essentially, with a divided locker room. Not only just the players, coaches. I mean, you had people with very, very wildly different opinions about should Butler be playing.
Right.
And why are you gonna do that? Like, tell me what was worth that to Bill Belichick.
And they told him right before the national anthem. And then he's just in tears because he finds out he's not playing. But the only explanation that I heard that really has true substance is the Patriots got killed against the Chiefs this year. And Malcolm Butler played horrible. And, well, Doug Peterson used to coach the Chiefs. And so all those plays kind of overlay because Doug Peterson used to be the assistant coach to Andy Reid. And so basically that offense is extremely similar, except Doug Peterson is incredibly aggressive and Andy Reid is ultra conservative.
He's so aggressive, and
I love it. It's so great. So, but I think that was a big thing was Malcolm Butler got torched against basically the same offense. And they thought, okay, he's just going to make the same mistakes. But even then, I don't know if I do that. You're putting in like a backup rookie. They're putting in the rookie, Eric Rowe, that the Eagles traded to the Patriots. Like,
why wouldn't you just teach him like what to do in their scenarios? Like, isn't that the whole point of being the coaches? Being like, this is where you got torched in that game. They're going to run something similar.
But he was never like this ultra talent. Is the thing. He made that incredible catch at the Super Bowl. Then he like held out, got paid. He was never this ultra corner. You know, he's like he had like a I don't know. He really isn't that super. So if you replace him with a guy that you think is going to perform better.
Right. And I mean, to your point, he's not, especially this year, not that impressive. I don't think that him physically not being on the field had a huge impact on the outcome. Like I said, I think if there was an impact on the outcome, it was much more that the players and coaches were very divided about what was going on.
I feel like you can replace a corner, and I know how, like, you know, secondary, you have to have, like, you have to know how the other guy's going to react and your other teammate, but the defensive line had no impact in that game. Like, they didn't sack Foles once. Foles only had twice pressure on him. Like, they only recorded him taking pressure on twice.
Good luck as a head coach, Matt Patricia.
Exactly. You have to pressure the quarterback, especially a guy who, he's not Ben Roethlisberger. He's not some escape artist. He's not Carson Wentz.
Matt Patricia looks like the dude like in your college dormitory where there's just always that skunky smell coming out of his dorm room, and there's just like 7 empty pizza boxes just like stacked outside the room. That is Matt Patricia.
It's true.
He also probably has a great football mind.
Did the Patriots lose both their like coordinators?
Yeah, Josh McDaniels is gone too.
Did he go to he can go to the Lions as well, right?
No, he is head coaching somewhere next year.
So this whole like coaching dynasty is kind of falling apart around him.
It feels like this might be the end of this era, and this is something. I'll always give Bill Simmons lots of credit. Love Bill Simmons. This is something he talked about, where basically like you can look at this 17, 20-year run of the Patriots, as a whole thing, but more accurately, like as an entire dynasty, but more accurately, it's really been a series of like 4 to 5 year mini runs that just happen to kind of be almost seamlessly connected.
Right.
But yeah, because personnel changes, coaching changes, all that type of stuff. It's really been a series of 4 to 6 year runs, which I thought was interesting.
I feel like it's been easy for Belichick because, he can constantly like insert new people, but always the same constant is Tom Brady. And now that he's 40, almost 41, is he going to still be Tom Brady? Like, I don't see him ever being able to throw another 500-yard game. Like, that was the most in playoff history. Like, that was like humongous performance, but he was outplayed by Nick Foles.
I don't know if he was outplayed by Nick Foles. Nick Foles won. Nick Foles won the shootout, but Nick Foles had the only big defensive play to help solidify his win. The only big defensive play pretty much in the entire game was the strip sack on Brady at the end.
Yeah, the defense didn't stop him once. There was they didn't punt the ball. That was the craziest thing. Patriots didn't punt the ball once.
I didn't realize that during the game, but I heard that afterwards.
Oh my God.
So let's take a step back from the X's and O's and all that. You guys have any funny stories from watching the Super Bowl this year? Any just kind of good Super Bowl stories you want to share with our listeners?
So I was watching it with Lucas. We went to our local sports bar, and we had a new waitress who just really didn't know what she was doing yet. Yeah. So they ordered, like, each of them got a switchback, and then they get their switchbacks, and all of a sudden another waitress there brings them over a pitcher, like, oh, she actually rang this in, like, here you guys go. So this is like an hour and a half before the game.
Mm-hmm. I see where this is headed.
We're tying on, but we had a nice little Eagles corner going on.
We did. It was pretty nice.
The guys behind us were getting a bit rowdier than.
I think I matched them. I was standing up on the table.
But these kids were throwing
chairs. They threw the chairs at one point.
Picking chairs up over their head, like, oh.
Yeah. David picked me up and then dropped me.
And dropped you.
I ran outside. I was screaming outside. That was good.
Lucas did not have a voice at all yesterday. Monday. We're recording this Tuesday. And it's still iffy.
It's pretty scratchy.
It was gone.
It feels better.
The first quarter, your voice was gone.
Yeah. It was after like 4 plays.
It was fun. I had a good time.
Yeah, basically, fourth quarter, it was kind of a haze. We didn't hear the game at all because there was just screaming and yelling. And now looking back, and because I watched the whole game again, sometimes they were like, oh my God, like the commentators were talking about like that could have been a drop pass. I didn't realize until the next day that there was any controversy around any of those touchdown catches. And I was like, I don't remember that. I just remember freaking out, being happy.
So that ties perfectly into my funniest moments from watching the Super Bowl. So it kind of couldn't have been more different than your guys' experience. I was with my newborn. I had another baby girl on this past Wednesday, the 31st, Riley. And I was watching with her, my 2-year-old, Maya,
nice.
Wife, in-laws, parents. It was a low-key family affair. But we're all huge Eagles fans, so we were really, we were getting hyped. We were very much into it. I am a huge hater when I watch sports. I hate on the other team. I hate on the announcers. I hate on the refs.
I like it.
Kind of just what I do. So the 2 people I was hating on the most by far were one, Torrey Smith, who's an Eagles player,
okay.
And That was for Nick.
Thanks for clearing that up. I was like, yep, okay, yep.
Because he has just been trash all year. He can't catch a football. He's a nice guy. Like, honestly, he's a really good human being.
He got a touchdown.
I kind of have nothing but love for him, like as a human. But as a football player, he has really, really let me down consistently this year. So I am just dropping every expletive known to man about Torrey Smith throughout the game, just losing my mind. And I'm kind of starting to get looks from the in-laws, from my parents, like, dude, take it easy, whatever. As soon as one of them says something to me about it, I get a text message from my cousin. Torrey Smith is garbage. Like, boom, hey guys, check out my phone. I'm not alone here. The other thing was Chris Collinsworth.
Oh,
what you were saying
terrible.
just made me think of it. Chris Collinsworth's call of this game, I'm not going to say it was biased because I don't care if it was biased, actually. It was just patently inaccurate throughout.
Yeah.
He was just saying absolute nonsense. And his take on the reviews,
He said every review was the wrong decision. Like, he would go off on rants. And I think the Zach Ertz one was reviewed the longest. And it was literally like 5 minutes of him saying, like, no, that'll never be a catch. It's not a catch. Like, you guys don't understand the rules. It's how the rules work. And then he's just wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I genuinely wonder if he's going to have to come out and say something. Because there's like mass media, not even just like sports media, just like mass media articles that have just destroyed Chris Collinsworth's, announcing of that game. And so I was really flipping out about him as well to everyone. The next morning, I wake up and I start paging through, I think it was like the Washington Post or something had an article about how awful Chris Collinsworth was.
Yeah.
Screenshot, group text, call me a hater, but I'm also accurate. My hate is justified.
It just seemed like any play that the Eagles got, he was just like,
It was just, and then in the final, like, 3 minutes, he was like, oh, no, all the Patriots are going to come back and win this. Like, it was just endless praise for the Patriots. They could do no wrong, even though the Eagles torched them on defense all night.
I feel like they just need to get some non-NFL fans in there. You can get me up in the booth, and I'll be like, that was a great play. And they'll be like, that was not good. I'd be like, nope. He got the ball.
That would be kind of funny to have, like, an outsider commentate a football game, but, like, a really expressive, like, excited player. Like, I loved watching after the game the Nick Foles catch in the end zone, but the commentary was from, like, 13 different countries.
Oh, nice.
And you could hear, like, some, I couldn't understand anything.
Throw me up in the
But it
booth.
was so exciting hearing, like, how they just go, like, goal forever. That was my best goal impression. But it was like that, but, I hate you guys.
That sounded like Lucas had been wandering around the desert for the last 7 months.
I need water.
Anything else you guys want to touch on?
Nick Foles, are the Eagles going to trade him?
See, that's what I was.
His trade value is the biggest it'll ever be. He's only making $7 million a year.
So it's a super desirable contract.
Super desirable contract. Super Bowl MVP. Pro Bowler. Only on a 1-year deal.
But does Carson Wentz come back the same way?
That's the biggest question. Is he ready day one? And then what if, because if you tear your ACL, there's like a huge chance you're just going to do it again. So, like, why not keep Nick Foles for another run? And, like, what if he gets hurt week 6 this time? Then you have Nick Foles again.
I don't think you can. One, because of what you just said, the trade value. What we could get back would be huge.
Right.
But equally as important, if not more, I don't think we want to create a quarterback controversy. And not that there would be that to start the season by any stretch of the imagination. But say Wentz is back, whether it's week 1 or week 4 or whatever, Wentz is back, he's got some rust. All of a sudden the Eagles lose 2 out of 3 games, 3 out of 4 games, and Wentz doesn't look that great. We've got Nick Foles waiting in the wings, no pun intended.
So you think they need to trade Foles?
I think we need to trade Foles because Wentz is our future.
Okay.
He absolutely is, and we really need to ride or die with Wentz. And I think that having Foles on the bench, if Wentz does have a rough patch, I think it's just not going to be good for the team. It's going to create a divided locker room potentially, a divided fan base, maybe a divided coaching staff, and then all of a sudden we're having to actually ask the question, who should start next week, Nick Foles or Carson Wentz?
I agree. I think I saw 2 things posed. What if Doug Peterson decides, okay, Nick Foles played incredible. We can replicate that next year, and you look to trade Wentz. Would you trade Wentz to the Browns for like the first pick in the draft and then their first round pick the next year? I wouldn't do that. But if someone called and asked the Eagles front office, would you take a first, a fourth, a first next year for your quarterback that just tore his ACL?
I essentially
he has a much higher ceiling than Foles. Like,
I wouldn't trade Wentz for anything that someone would ever trade for him. You know what I mean? I would trade him for like.
Would you trade Foles for to the Cardinals for like the 12th pick?
I'd really love to trade Foles to the AFC. To be honest, I don't. Just in case we're wrong,
just send him back to the Rams.
Don't play us.
Yeah, is Jeff Fisher coaching anywhere again? Let's just send him wherever Jeff Fisher is. Jeff Fisher, by the way. You're awful. You're awful. I'm just taking a shot at you right now, bud. I know you're listening. You're a terrible coach.
I was just going to say, I don't think we really touched on the Tom Brady attempted catch.
Oh, that should be discussed.
Oh, my goodness. Another reason why Foles did better than Tom Brady. He can catch a ball. Oh,
on fourth down, no less.
On fourth down.
So much more pressure.
Oh, it was a touchdown.
Yeah.
It was a touchdown.
That was incredible. I don't like how Tom Brady, maybe the guy overthrew him. Maybe that's my only thing. But Tom Brady really tried to catch it like the hardest way to catch a ball ever.
It was
over
a bit
your
of
head.
an overtoss.
It was an overtoss, but he also
it was
he needs to be able to turn around and catch it like that because it's any easy way for him to do it.
He's like an 80-year-old man now. That's like
he is a middle-aged dad just trying to catch a ball now.
Played some flag football out there. Gonna play wide receiver today, kids.
Well, yeah, my favorite thing about that play was Foles ran the same play in high school.
Really?
Yeah, they ran the exact same thing, and I mean they were up by 30 at that point, but that was pretty cool that he ran that play. And I guess they put it in the playbook like a week earlier. It was like, okay, we're gonna run this. It was pretty cool.
I thought it was
funny. They never practiced it.
I thought it was funny because to me, like I was not a big fan just watching it. That the only reason the Eagles ran that play was because the Patriots ran that play.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
We're gonna run this play and get a touchdown when you guys couldn't even get it in the middle of the field when Tom Brady was wide open.
He was wide open.
I don't know if he's the most coordinated. I don't know. I mean, it sounds weird to say that about probably like the GOAT in terms of quarterbacks, but we all saw his combine, his 40-yard dash. I mean, he was a physical specimen, let me tell you.
Oh, God, that is the best picture of Tom Brady.
It really is.
Scrawny 6th-round pick. It was really funny.
To become the GOAT.
Here's looking at you, Giselle.
So beautiful.
All right, well, we will be back soon with this week's full NBA Sip and Swish podcast. Thanks for tuning into the mini pod. We'll be releasing at least 1 or 2 mini pods every week from here on out. See you guys soon.